Hey, this is Sky. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Go check out my website at skysworld.com if you want life coaching or mentoring. It's Sunday, bright and early, daily discipline, mind, body, and soul. It's Easter, so happy Easter out there to all the Christians. Let's get into our study group for warriors. I got a couple new subscribers. I gained a whole bunch of subscribers earlier in the week. I was surprised, looking at it like, what's happening? Must have been one of the videos. And then slowly towards the end of the week, every single one of them, not every one of them, I think I retained a couple of them, but a lot of them unsubscribed. And I know what happens. You know, you see one of my stories about gangs or bikers and you think this is some kind of train wreck channel. Oh, you're going to watch my crazy life. This guy's had crazy experiences. Let's listen to all his crazy stories. And then I turn on you. It turns out I got 980 videos of self-help, self-mastery, mind, body, and soul, and people are like, that, unsubscribe. I don't want that. That's fine. I think it's funny. Let's just get into the study group. I got a lot to talk about, way too much, page and a half, but this is heavy stuff. So let's get into it. For the new subscribers, this is how we get down on Sundays. You'll catch the hang of it. So the first thing I want to talk about is actually split into two parts. These are two rules of life that you should know. First one is some things can't be changed. Write that down. Get it tattooed on your arm. Some things can't be changed. The next one is some questions don't have answers. Some questions don't have answers. You won't find the answer. It's a mystery, and it always will be. Stop trying to torture yourself with knowing everything or controlling everything. You can't change some things. It's just the way shit is. And you don't have an answer for some stuff. Some stuff you just have to be like, who knows? and it's tough when you don't have an answer, especially when you think you need one. So until you solve this issue, this dilemma of control, you'll always be depressed. And think about that. Let's go to the next one. What is your responsibility and what is not your responsibility? Are you clear on that? You should be clear on that. You should do this as an exercise. You could even write it down. You can do 2 columns. What is my responsibility and what isn't my responsibility? Things that are my responsibility and things that aren't. Put that on your nightstand, get a glance at it every once in a while to remind you so you can keep on track. Your responsibility would be like your happiness is your own responsibility. No other person can make you happy. You say, that person makes me unhappy. No, they don't. No one can make you unhappy. No one has that power. Are you giving people that power? Stop it. You have that power. Don't give away your power. And conversely, it's not your responsibility to make others happy. You're not a minstrel. You're not some clown. Bring in the clown, like the king of the court jester. Is that what you think you are? You're there to make everybody happy? It's not your responsibility to even give a shit about how other people internalize life. That's their affliction. That's their issue, not yours. Let's go to the next one. I can stay on that one for a long time. Know your limits and be honest about them with yourself. It's important to be honest with ourselves. My dad was a habitual offender of this. He didn't really know his limits, and he was never really honest about himself with it. He would get himself into predicaments, and people would ask him, what the hell were you thinking? You don't know about this. And he just kind of thought he knew, kind of thought he could do it. He would lie to himself about what his knowledge was. One of the areas that he would always lie about was being a mechanic. My dad had worked as a diesel mechanic when he was younger, but he was not a master mechanic. And well into his later life, and he died at age 46, so I mean, his later life was in his 40s. But in his 40s, he tried to fix my van one time, and it took him like 2 hours to change an oil filter. And I'm just standing there just like, dude, you know nothing. You're the biggest idiot ever. You got to be honest with your limits. Be honest with yourself about what you know, and that honesty can only help you further. You may realize that I really don't know a lot about relationships. I always thought I was a master at relationships. I'm such a good guy. Maybe you're not such a good guy. You got to be honest about yourself, and that's how you improve yourself. I've seen people in the gym, they're not honest about their limits, and that's how they get hurt. Let's go to the next one. There's no better reason to die than for defending your beliefs. What's a good reason to die? If some of you say there's no good reason to die, then you're a pussy, not a warrior. What would you die for? Die for protecting my family? Gladly. Gladly. I'd die for defending my beliefs. Maybe you wouldn't. I would. I'll fight to the death in the streets over any one of my beliefs. I'm that firm in them. Not all my beliefs. Some things I'm ready to open for new experiences on, new information on, but there's some stuff that I know in my heart of hearts, and you're not going to change it, and I'll fight to the death because of it. Damn right I will. I'll fight anyone. Anyone. Let's go to the next one. I never ask for followers or friends, but I don't refuse them. It's just a rule about being a lone wolf. It isn't so much a statement about myself. It kind of is, but I wrote this down because I heard somebody else say it on a podcast, and I just thought that was interesting. A lone wolf can join a pack just as easily as he can wander off from it. Makes no difference to the lone wolf. He's not walking away from a pack unhappy. It's just the way that motherfucker is. He's perfectly content being alone. Let's go to the next one. I know you've heard this before. The meek shall inherit the earth. And that's the truth. Some of you don't like to hear that. It goes like this. A rich man can just as easily get into heaven as a camel can fit through the eye of a needle. Let's go to the next one. There's a line in a song that I heard that I liked. The guy said, "One more day in another wasted life." I can't tell you how many times that I have felt that my life is a goddamn waste. A total fucking waste. Meaningless, useless ass life. Your whole life is a fucking blip in time. You live and you die and nobody fucking cares. But you give life meaning. A lot of people are waiting for others to give life meaning, waiting to stumble onto a meaningful life as if they stumble into dog shit as they're walking through the park. You have to give life meaning every single day. That's your purpose, is to wake up and to give life meaning. You could look at a sunset and think it's meaningless and just be like, it's early. Or you could look at it as life. You could give meaning to every single thing. You're at the water fountain taking a drink and you're sitting there stressed thinking about other shit. You could stop and think for a second, I'm drinking water. This is a beautiful experience. You could give meaning to every single thing. I think you waste time. That's what people talk about when they're talking about their wasted life. They waste time. I've wasted so much time. Time doesn't exist. Time and money are made up. Yesterday and tomorrow are a fucking fantasy. I'll do the last one on this page and go to the next. Have we got time? Yeah, we'll go a little longer. There's another line in a song. That was all inspired from a line in a song. Sometimes lines in songs make me think about shit. Here's another one. You can think about this one. This is easy to understand. Win or lose, it's the Father's road I'll choose. And I heard that. I had to write it down. That shit hit me hard. You guys might not care about that. That is some deep shit. Win or lose, it's the Father's road I'll choose. All right, here goes some complex brain stuff. You guys may not get this. Most of you are not going to get this. I'll read it to you anyways. This is heavy duty shit. So you have different emotions that may rule you. Let's talk to the men here. Women deal with their emotions differently. You have anger. You may have anxiety. You may have depression. Anger, anxiety, and depression seem to rule us. We may flip back and forth between those all day long. Are we angry? Are we anxious? Are we depressed? But negativity swirls around us like a stew. So, how do you deal with anger? You study and you read. That's how you counteract anger. You're overwhelmed by anger. Study and read. How do you deal with anxiety? You're overwhelmed by anxiety. You work out. Do some fucking push-ups. Get your ass to the gym and start pumping iron. You exercise your way through anxiety. You study your way through anger. Depression, you pray. Pray your way through depression. If you don't get down with religion and you roll your eyes at religion, meditate. If you don't like to meditate or pray, then be depressed, motherfucker. This is brain stuff. This works. It changes the way that your brain fires its electromagnetic chemical signals. It's a mixture of electronic and chemical signals that fire in your brain and goes to different quadrants of your brain. When you're angry, for example, you're in the amygdala, and when you want to get out of the amygdala, you have to actually switch how your brain fires. Well, how do you do that? You can take all the drugs you want and sit there and wait and see if that works, but you could also study and read. You can work out, and you can meditate and pray. This accesses different parts of your brain. This is heavy-duty shit, man. I should end on that one, but let's end on some Jesus stuff since it's Easter. Jesus was nailed to a cross, right? That's a story. And then he was resurrected. I'm not trying to debate the validity of the story. I hate when people want to do that shit. It's just a goddamn story, man. Just think of it like Harry Potter or the Lord of the Rings. He was nailed to a cross and then he was resurrected. We all know that part. It's significant because that's the story of our lives. We get persecuted. Jesus had it hard, man. He is innocent. And he was accused of all kinds of stuff. You may know what that's like. We've all gone through a life of struggle and felt like we've been nailed to a cross. Many of us have felt like we died on that cross. But you can be resurrected. The resurrection is upon you. It's not a blessing by God where he's like, you, but not you. No, this comes from within. You have to claw your way back to life, to scratch your way out of the grave you were buried in, back up to the surface level, to the dirt, and brush off all the worms and the maggots that were eating you. You have to do that. That's your responsibility. God gave you the power to come back to life. It's funny though, because you have to die first in order to be resurrected. That's the rule of leveling up. Happy Easter. Thanks and praise.